Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Victor, and welcome to my YouTube page, which is all about helping people navigate their spiritual awakening process. In today's video is going to talk about a little bit of the schizophrenia you might have been experiencing lately, or throughout maybe your whole awakening journey. And what I'm talking about is, why do you have days where you feel awesome, you feel like you're actually reaping the rewards of all you've been working toward, you feel connected, aligned, amazing, confident, and your life goes smoothly, and you think, wow, I've made it, this is it, I've done my job, I've ascended, yada yada. And then the next day, the next week, you feel the complete opposite of that. You feel awful, you feel very like mentally cloudy, depressed, doubtful, they just really like possessed by all of your ego baggage, basically, and you just completely almost forgotten about what it was like to be that guy over there. And you just keep going back and forth. And unfortunately, the awakening process tends to have us experiencing primarily, mostly bad days, you know. In fact, it's funny. I used to be in this drug halfway house in South Florida, and I had this really cool therapist named Vinny Richards, this guy from New York, real cool guy. He'd always be like, Victor, you only have 10 bad days a year. This was kind of when I was going through like getting clean and whatnot. And it kind of helped me, like, okay, well, you know what? It's called today a bust. It's a bad day. What are you going to do? And like roughly 10 a year. Most days are good. Okay, tomorrow's another day. But it's not like that for you and me. It's not like that during your awakening. Most of the days are kind of bad. Let's be honest. Okay, so what do you do? How do you like? What's the point of this? What this video is not going to do is not going to tell you how to skip over it. It's not going to tell you how to avoid it. How do I always have a good day? You're not going to always have a good day while you're awakening, but you can look at it from a vastly different perspective than I suspect most of you are looking at it now, and you can reduce the intensity significantly, come to an acceptance of these bad days, and see the value of it, and actually be like grateful for why it's happening, because you now understand why it's happening, and it'll create a whole different shift in your way of experiencing them, so they don't just floor you and make you really dive into like your deep fears and whatnot. You'll come to accept them, just kind of observe them, and then you'll be happy when the next day comes and you're in a better day. So these bad days are necessary. This is how the awakening process works. We get to not only like know and see, but experience the degree in which our ego self, our falsely identified cluster of issues that we think of ourselves, has been affecting our life experience. And by having this contrast of going back and forth, we get to have motivation to keep going, knowing that this person, this potential version of myself does exist. You've experienced them, so I'm going to keep going. So that's why we have these little teases. But in order to get to this awesome person, to become this person who you know yourself to be, you have to stop acting from exhibiting behaviors representative of this ego self. So you have to experience intimately the qualities of this ego structure and see yourself taking action from it, so you can stop doing that. You just have to see this ego face enough times before you say, I don't like this guy, I like this guy. But here's the thing. Here's how you get to actually become this guy. You have to start acting like this guy. You can't be this guy and yet have little addictions and little phobias and little fears and hold on to these little illusions. They don't compute. They don't resonate, and you're never going to have both. You're being asked to let go of this guy, the ego person, okay? But the only way your higher self knows to motivate you to let go of it is to show you just how much it's affecting you. Just how much your life suffers from holding on to this stuff. Fortunately, the energies are changing and we're becoming more expansive. So it's becoming a lot easier to see more clearly the nature of this ego structure, and then the decision to start acting like this guy is much more obvious and clear to us, and we're more motivated to do it. So just accept these times, these off days, as a lesson. A day to not maybe do a lot of awesome things in your life. Maybe it's a day to kind of step back and observe and get the messages that are being relayed to you from this day, from this miserable state of being. Otherwise, you just have to keep repeating it. But if you can learn, you can learn all these little lessons, like, I do this. I think this. This doesn't make sense. You can really, again, you can reduce how many of these future days you have when you really start to make the most of these bad days. But most people, they wallow, they fight, and they try to distract themselves. They say, why is this happening to me? They complain. They go into victim mentality. They look for solutions all over the internet, and they try to read books and try to do anything to spark up some joy in their life. But there's no joy to be had because you're having a bad day. Accept it, use it, transcend it, and you will have much less of them. You'll start to be more objective about them. You'll see them, it's one of those bad days again. Let's see what I can discover about myself that I've been holding on to now. And then it's more of like a series of epiphanies you have on that day, rather than, again, this like, where'd my higher self go? It won't be like that. You'll be more empowered. You'll be more confident. You won't be as affected by it. It's not the end of the world. The good days are coming. This is really just to kind of teach you a little something about yourself that you need to be taught in order to get to where you want to go.